Is the internet safe? Every single view, every single click, they're watching you. Welcome back to Awesome Addiction. I'm your host, Nora Lim. Today, I'll talk about The Social Dilemma, a documentary on Netflix. It wasn't easy for me to finish it. It took me 2 tries in total. During my initial viewing, the way they presented the show creeped me out. Not because of the content, but the storytelling method reminded me of a show called Tiger King. It's that similar predatory style that's so intrusive. And it's so disturbing to me. Even though Tiger King is a popular show, I didn't like it. My friend Roxanne convinced me to watch The Social Dilemma recently. Hell of a ride. The movie discussed a pressing theme, addiction. 24/7, there's this one thing you can't live without. That's right, your phone. They spoke about being addicted to social media, being addicted to your phone. It's the first thing you reach for when you wake up in the morning. Besides having such a great theme, the craftsmanship of this docu-drama is impeccable. Throughout the show, it is intertwined with interviews and drama. You see a storyline being played out by the actors, and on the other hand, former tech executives and employees are revealing the reasons behind their departure from the Silicon Valley companies. Many of them pioneered and/or influenced how our tech companions behave. One of the leading interviewees is Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google. Later in this episode, I'll be quoting his words and offer some of my opinions. We see 3 stories progressing at the same time. The A story is the interview, aka the reality. Through the A story, we see former tech employees reveal their thoughts. The B story is drama. We follow the characters, Ben and his family, into their lives. Through the lens, we see how they interact and behave in this world that is filled with social media interactions. Whereas for the C story, it's drama as well. We see the back-end machines, or AI algorithms. They're collecting our data. These 3 storylines advance together to bring out the theme. Alright guys, spoiler alert. Next up, I'll be mentioning the notable moments in this movie, along with some of my views, if I may. Since I watched this on Netflix, I can pause and jot down the time code. So, at any time, if you find something interesting, feel free to check it out yourself. We'll go through it in a playing order. And here we go. Around 13 minutes and 11 seconds, the interviewee mentions that if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. See, social media providing us this convenience of connecting with another person on Earth for free. Wonder how they make money off of this? They sell ads. Based on the information the platform collected from us, they know our preferences better than ourselves. It's to the point where they could predict what we possibly like. And through this, they can allow advertisers to set their parameters. Whether it's a product targeting a pet owner or healthy organic products targeting health-conscious consumers. Around 15 minutes and 4 seconds, I wrote, they sell certainty. To be successful in this business, you need great predictions. And yeah, this is where data comes in handy. Like the example we provided earlier, around 17 minutes. I think it's creepy that they measure how long you look at each image. They're collecting data about us. Every single like, every single keyword that we search, everything we share and look at. It is super creepy to see how they stage this scene as well. This is where I stopped watching during my initial viewing. And the machines are coming up with personalized algorithm. Through the data they have collected over time, they can pretty much predict what we enjoy. Just like the list of recommended videos on YouTube, they're able to feed you content based on the data they have. In the movie, they also mentioned the term growth hacking and A/B testing. If you've never heard of the term growth hacking, it means maximizing growth by spending the least amount of effort or resources, and it usually happens in a short time frame. As for A/B testing, it's allowing you to experiment with two versions, and through the results, you learn which ones perform better. There are means to track the statistics on the back end, and once you get all that information, it's easier to improve. The first time I've ever heard of A/B testing is through my former work experience working at a student-led creative agency. They were testing out different versions of copy for email marketing purposes. It's pretty interesting. And A/B testing can be applied to so many other fields besides marketing. In the movie, they also talk about using psychology against ourselves. So how does it work? In the show, they provided a slot machine analogy. Humans are incredibly curious species. This is human nature. Every single time you pull that handle on that slot machine, there's this excitement of unknown. You don't know which kind of combination you're gonna get this time. But what's addictive is the possibility that you'll hit the jackpot. People dream of winning, and they hold that hope every single time they reach for the handle. It's like teasing you. The tech companies also applied some psychological strategy with their app, with notification. Smartphone notifications are designed to grab your attention. Back in the day, things used to be very reactive. Instead of waiting for us to reach out for it passively, they are luring us now. They want our attention. Our mode of socializing is shifting from one-to-one in real life to one to infinity on social media. If I need to connect with someone else, a one-to-one conversation still works best for me. And I find myself reacting awkwardly in big groups. Yeah, I need to work on that. Or maybe not, maybe that's just me. But when it comes to social media, the struggle is real. The convenience provided by the technology allows us to connect instantaneously, no matter our distance, 24/7. Some folks don't like it and didn't want to adapt it to their lives. But what to do when companies are utilizing it as a tool for communication? People are changing their minds more frequently now. I always feel this urgency to keep myself up to date. It's not just about FOMO. I want to make sure people can reach me whenever they need my help. So I enable my notifications. I feel like anyone who's trying to resist this behavioral shift is going against this entire era, and it is not wise at all. Sometimes it's peer pressure that brings behavioral shift. Around 41 minutes and 11 seconds, the speaker says, the whole Generation Z is more anxious, more fragile, more depressed. They're much less comfortable taking risks. Through my personal experience and observations, the Gen Zs that I met are pretty good at socializing, especially when it comes to networking with a bunch of people. Whenever I thought of the term work smart, I feel like Gen Z is giving us a lot of that. They grew up with social media, it's part of their adolescence. It's giving them an edge in being social ready. Around 44 minutes, they mentioned that social media has only been around for a decade or so. It's still in its infancy stage. We can definitely expect a lot of changes coming up. We can also expect more rules and regulations kicking in as they develop over time. Around 53 minutes, here's an interesting one. The speaker says, we're all looking out for the moment when technology would overwhelm human strength and intelligence. When is it going to cross the singularity? Replace our jobs, smarter than humans? But there's this much earlier moment when technology exceeds and overwhelms human weaknesses. This point being crossed is the root of addiction, polarization, radicalization, outragification, vanitification. This entire thing is overpowering human nature, and this is checkmate on humanity. And wow, I'm speechless. Most of the time, whenever I think of machines, I think of an improved civilized structure that allowed us humans to achieve bigger and better things. This viewpoint right here introduced something new to me. Maybe not all changes are positive. Around the same time, they showed clips of The Truman Show. It's a movie. To give you a little bit of context, Truman is the protagonist who doesn't know he lives in a world of lies. Every single day, His life is being broadcasted on TV as a reality show, like 24/7. But he had no clue until he discovered something fishy. Anything by showing these clips. The filmmakers want to not just that we might not be aware that we're that monkey inside the cage. We're being watched all the time as well. And social network tends to show you what you believe in because their algorithms are designed this way. And yeah, you'll see a lot of things that you agree with. This in itself might form a little bubble in your life. You're extremely vulnerable under this mindset because you may be easily manipulated. From my perspective, this is exactly why critical thinking is increasingly important. Having the ability to think is paramount. Consider different viewpoints when you can. You may learn something new. Around 58 minutes, we see bipolar comments on social media and extreme representations on TV. Certain broadcast stations tend to lean towards either left or right. They're rarely neutral. One incident may carry very different headlines when you read it from a different publisher. The same goes for video. The politicians add dollars, help fund the TV stations, which contributes to their survival. So yeah. And when it comes to advertising, the internet is just a newer, more efficient way of doing that. Big data and digital marketing brought revolutionary changes to our generation. Through traditional advertising methods, we wouldn't be able to measure how efficient it is. But now with the metrics, all of a sudden, it became measurable. Around an hour and 2 minutes, there's this MIT study indicated that fake news on Twitter spreads 6 times faster than the truth. What is the world gonna look like when one has 6 times advantage over the other one? The tech giants created a system that biases towards false information, not because they wanted to, but because false information makes the company more money than the truth. Truth is boring. Get it? Their business model relies heavily on ads to bring in revenue. Being aware of this is gold. Whenever we see something trending, it's a good idea to do a fact check. See if there's any proof to support this claim. At the end of the day, social media is just a tool. It isn't causing any harm on its own. It could bring positive or negative impact to our society, to our lives. It all depends on how we utilize it. At the end of the film, Tristan Harris revealed that he has founded the Center for Humane Technology, and he'll be fighting for better, more humane technology. The ending is well made. He said, "We can demand that these products are designed humanely. The intention could be, how do we make the world better? Throughout history, every single time something's gotten better, it's because somebody has come along to say, this is stupid, we can do better. It's the critics that drive improvement. It's the critics who are the true optimists. So yeah, always provide constructive criticism." If you're interested, feel free to check it out on Netflix. I see this film as a wake-up call to be mindful of our online presence. Speaking of online presence and content, I have to mention a media theory by Marshall McLuhan. He says, the medium is the message. Unlike most of the people who analyze content, he insists that what's important is the medium itself. Because an invention could change how we behave and how we live our lives. And this, in return, will affect our entire generation. One of the examples he provides is the light bulb. The light bulb by itself doesn't carry any content whatsoever, but this instrument brings an important functionality to our lives, which is to illuminate our environment. Prior to having a light bulb, peasants can only work until the sun sets. Now with illuminating technology, we're able to carry on tasks when we lose sunlight. We're able to read at night. We're able to work overtime now. Oops. Anyway. This is just a little snippet from what Marshall McLuhan proposes. If there's a chance in the future, I would love to revisit his theory and share it on our show. Social media is just a tool. It depends on how and what we use it for. Being able to stay connected with family and friends around the globe is the biggest pro to me. A friend once told me that he's okay with personalized ads. It'd be more tailored to his likings. It all makes sense to me, but I dislike the fact that social media giants know too much about me as a person. I've suffered from multiple data breaches. My personal information was leaked. Maybe it's even being sold on the dark web. Who knows? I thought it's too dangerous for social media giants to hold too much information. When a data breach happens, it's scary. So I started using a password manager to take care of my password. Whenever possible, I reject the collection of my personal data. I also often utilize incognito mode and private mode on my browsers. And this wraps up my thoughts about the social dilemma. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to connect with us on Instagram at awesomeaddiction.podcast. Or not. We're also on YouTube now. You can get the link through our Instagram bio, or you can just search Awesome Addiction by Nora Lim on YouTube. Alrighty, folks. I hope you have a great day. This is Nora Lim signing off. Take care.